anniversary season here at And I don't even remember which annual all ages, anything goes poetry slam this is, but thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Mr. Geof Hewitt. Before we begin, we always like to start with an acknowledgement of where we are. Come on in, the water's fine. Let's see. Okay. Yes, there's lots of seats. Any you aware? Sit. Good. We can wait. It's fine. 15? It's the... No.
Yes.
Whoa. Wow. My brain, did you just see it? My brain just exploded all over this. Wow. Okay, here's the number 15. Woohoo. Thank you for being here. Such an auspicious occasion. Okay, now, I'm going to acknowledge where we are. With gratitude and humility, Lost Nation Theatre acknowledges that we do our work on Endakina, the ancestral homeland of the Wabanaki, people of the Dawnland. We thank them for being stewards of the land and keepers of the light. We are located here at the confluence of the Winooski, North Branch, and Dog Rivers, within the tribal boundaries of the Coasec traditional band of the Coas, which means place of the pines, and the Missisquoi band. We pay honor and respect to them and to their ancestors as we work to make a more equitable and inclusive place for all. Joining us in this work are our underwriters, the City of Montpelier, the Recovery and Resilience Fund of the Vermont Community Foundation, the Montpelier Strong Fund, National Life Group, The Point, the Vermont Arts Council, Vermont Mutual Insurance Company, The World newspaper, and tonight's sponsors, the Kellogg Hubbard Library and Poem City. Woohoo! All right, now just a little bit of business before I turn things over to Mr. Hewitt, our inimitable host. Okay, in case of an emergency, so if you have been here before, please get in the spirit of the evening and feel free to sing the tune along with me. Okay, in case of emergency, the way you came in is the way you go out. Yes, very good. And then, in addition to the lobby exits, we also have 2 emergency fire escape exits at the rear of the building, but we do ask that you use it only in case of emergency. I want to remind you to please, speaking of emergencies and fire safety, keep all your means of egress and entrance clear, so try not to clump up in the aisles. I know you're going to want to talk to one another, but we just ask that you do that out in the lobby where there's plenty of room to spread out. And then we have COVID safety and fire safety all in one, and I don't get in trouble with the fire marshal. So thank you very much for that. Let's see what else. Please turn off your cell phones. Make sure they don't go off during the show. Oh yeah, there's no food or drink except for bottled water in the theater, so thank you very much for that. I'm sorry if you didn't get the word beforehand. And yeah, so the final things I have to say is please, there's great ways that you can support Lost Nation Theatre. Let's have another 35 more years. Some ways that you can do that is to come back. Come back and see us tomorrow afternoon, in fact, at 1 o'clock. Storyteller Tim Jennings will be on the stage. He's wonderful, another Vermont treasure, along with Mr. Hewitt, going strong on 50 years of doing stuff. And also, for folks who love poetry and who love slamming, we have our next main stage show, I think is one that you'll really love. It's called 3 Sisters, 4 Women, and it's a very fun, modern reimagination of Chekhov's 3 Sisters. It's really a blast, so I hope you'll come back and see that. There's lots of information about what we're up to in the lobby. But mostly I'm here to say thank you all so much for coming, and let's give it up for Mr. Geof Hewitt!
Whoa, thank you all so much. Happy National Poetry Month. It's the 1 month where people seem to have a use for me, and I'm always grateful for the opportunity for Lost Nation Theatre hosting this event as an annual tradition. And I encourage you to support by attending and by donating whatever you have to offer, volunteer even for the Lost Nation Theater and to the Kellogg Hubbard Library, the sponsor of Poetry Month in Montpelier. I have a group of names here, people who have signed up. If you have not signed up and you are intent on performing, speak now or don't. Good enough. I need a number between 1 and 11. And I don't know whether Kathleen is within hearing distance.
Yes, I am, Jeff.
I want you to give me a number between 1 and 11.
7.
7. That means that Dee Avery is going to be our second performer this evening after someone maybe named Dahi and Company. Who is that? Is it Dami or Dahi?
Dahi.
D-A?
Dahi.
D. I'm going to call you D.
Okay.
So we're going to open with you after everything else gets started. But I know you had to leave it early, so this is a way to accommodate you. Quite frankly, the first couple of slammers before the judges get warmed up, the first couple of slammers typically don't do as well score-wise. So we're not giving an advantage in this hotly contested competition. But just to get things started, I'm going to put Dahi's name up there, and then it's going to be Dee Avery. And Dee, I want you thinking of a number between 1 and 11 that hasn't yet been called.
Hey, Jeff.
Huh?
Yeah, you got a mic on. You don't have to stay at the mic.
You did what?
You don't have to stand at the microphone. That's for your contestants.
Oh, I don't need to be there.
No, you got a mic on.
Oh, man. People, can you all still see me? All right, we'll go with it. Die. Dee Avery. Do I have that name right? Yes. Now, Dee, I need to know. You already asked for that. Call it out so I can hear. Did you say 10?
Yep.
Good call. It's a good number. That's Jennifer. Jennifer, have you got a number for me?
3.
3. Another good call. Yes, Dia, D-I-Y-A. Dia, can I have a number, please?
4.
Did you say 4?
Yeah.
That would be Rick. Rick, I need a number.
6.
6, good call. Oh, yes. Susie, S-O-U-S-I-E, is that right?
No.
Your handwriting is a masterpiece.
There you go. Just do it again.
One way or another, Susie, I need a number nobody has called yet.
5. Nobody's called 5.
Did you say 5?
I said 5.
You've been paying attention. Miriam! Where are you, Miriam? Ah, I need a number and you've been paying close attention.
I hope so. 8.
Did you say 8? That's a really good call. Tamsin.
You've laughed now. Blood everywhere.
Tamsin, can I have a number? Did you say 10? I think we already had a 10. Oh, Lord. Yes, we have. Oh,
We have
a 1. That's Dahi and Company. I already told, I didn't tell you. I apologize. Say a number. 11. That sounds pretty good. Christopher. Christopher, I need a number. That's very helpful. Give me a number, man. 9. He did call 9. I was hoping he would. That's Jim. Because Jim has been paying such close attention, he won't repeat any number. What is it? 2. Yes. J.D. Fox. Where are you, J.D.?
Up there.
J.D.,
way up in the corner,
I'm counting on you.
9.
right there.
9.
We've got none.
Yeah, I'm going to call it 9. That's 1. I'm going to call that Emmett. I don't know, 2 T's. Is there anybody whose name I have not written on the board who is performing tonight? Very well. Folks, in this slam, anything goes. But first, you need the words from the Bible of slam. Hewitt's Guide to Slam Poetry and Poetry Slam. Tonight, out of kindness to the artistic world, we've invited other performers so that anything goes. But here, from the Bible of Poetry Slam, I happen to have copies in the back of my car. The rules. The performer shall perform anything without props or costumes or musical accompaniment, except when it's anything goes, in which case the performer is welcome to do anything. With a 5-minute time limit in front of 5 judges who will score the work in a range of 0 to 10 with decimal points to 1 place, and the highest and the lowest of those scores discarded. So the highest you can get is a 10. The highest and the lowest scores are discarded. What would be the highest score a performer could earn?
30.
Who said 30?
We did.
You did?
Yeah.
How many 10s would they need to get that 30?
They would need 3.
Yell for me.
They would need 4.
Who said 4? You're all right. We got somebody who knows their math. And throughout the event, everyone will keep in mind, the points are not the point. The point is the performance. And now, to introduce you to the 5 judges who will determine the fate of tonight's 11 competitors. Please welcome to the stage, with a round of applause, our first judge, Larry. Hey, Larry. I'll bring up Kim. And Chrissy. And Mark. And Deborah. Now, I asked each of these judges, handpicked, by the way, I asked them what qualifies you to be a judge. And I have to acknowledge that Larry's response was immediate. Nothing. Kim, where are you? Yes, Kim. She says, well, I write poetry. Not only that, but she's got a new book out from Rootstock Publishing. We got Chrissy. Where are you, Chrissy? There you are. Chrissy's qualified because, well, reading and writing poetry since I was 9 years old. She's been doing it for 5 years, folks. We got Mark, a man with a great sense of humor. I said, what qualifies you? He said, you asked me. And Deborah. Why are you qualified? I don't know. Kathleen asked me. I am a writer, and I'm judgmental, and Deborah was a judge in the Bible for Deborah. Judges, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I fill in your name. Did you hear that? We'll start over. I, your name, please.
Kim, Deborah.
I can't hear you.
Kim, Deborah.
Do hereby affirm
Do hereby affirm
that I shall remain objective throughout the slam,
that I shall remain objective throughout the slam,
not giving unnecessarily high scores
not giving unnecessarily high scores
to my sweethearts,
to my sweetheart,
or those who I wish would become my sweethearts,
become my sweetheart,
nor nasty and low scores.
nor nasty and low scores.
It would help if you just put a little flex in the wrist. Nasty and low scores
Nasty and low scores.
to those for whom I hold disdain. Further,
Further,
I understand
I understand
that I may score in a range
that I may score in a range
from 0,
from 0,
which means don't quit your day job, all the way up to a 10,
all the way up to a 10.
which means your performance blew my socks all the way to Toledo.
Your performance blew my socks all the way to Toledo.
More finally, I promise
More finally, I promise
to use the second set of scorecards
to use the second set of scorecards
for a decimal point,
for a decimal,
because otherwise we'll have ties.
because otherwise we'll have ties.
And
And
at the end of this event,
at the end of this event,
I humbly promise
I humbly promise
to return the scorecards to the slam master author of Hewitt's Guide to Slam Poetry and Poetry Slam, from which these scorecards have been lovingly photocopied.
Return the scorecard.
What's the title of your book?
Fire in a circle.
Fire in the Circle. I have a feeling we brought it on stage tonight. Shall I, audience, award these scorecards to these 5 judges? Enjoy yourself. And you may take your seat again. You'll enjoy it. You're a good man, Larry. Thank you, Kim. Take care.
Anything else?
Every slam has a sacrificial performer. That person who gives of his or her talent without any hope of walking off with one of the fabulous prizes. And tonight the prizes are fabulous. First prize is tickets to a Lost Nation Theater production. But the sacrificial poet has no opportunity. That person is giving of his or her talents in order to give the judges an opportunity to set their standards. And their job is to compare each ensuing performance to what they anchored their first set of scores with. It's a heavy responsibility. And tonight, I've agreed to be your Let me introduce to you the concept of backwards evolution. But first, an aside, words backwards tell a lot about themselves. Radar backwards is radar, a one-word palindrome. Backwards is straw cab. And get this, embargo backwards, oh, grab me. Catatonic, cannot attack. Dermatitis, sit tight, I'm red. Lost Nation Theater, teeth nushing Tsasal. Constitute, two tits knock. And revolution is no shoe lover. I could say whole sentences backwards, accurate unless you work one up ahead of time to trick me. Language loved and played with like a child reveals itself. Backwards evolution, by the by, holds simply that our entire perception of cause and effect is merely reversed. Think about it, effect and cause, effect, then cause. Meanwhile, our memories are upside down because provably at birth we reach up when we should reach down, meaning our vision has to be trained. And so, I have no prophetic vision, but say it all starts in the future as we see it with the Big Bang creation. The sun-like energy, the God that sets us spinning And we evolved to the day when you got born and then me. Or the other way around, depending on which way the world is spinning, which bounce of the Big Bang we're on. Free choice? Forget it. You've worn notches in the grooves of bang-prescribed human activity. You are going to scratch your left temple tonight at bedtime, just as you will next bang around, except on that trip through, you will first scratch, and only then feel the itch. Old 16mm movies played backwards, the diver emerging feet first from the center of the pool until she balances on the board and backs away confidently, all dry. Except for seeing upside down at birth, oh, never mind. You'd never understand. But can't you just see the sense of pieces flying back together? The compost recomposing into real banana peels? The banana re-entering your body, to put it politely as I can, and being undigested, unchewed, and emerging from your mouth only to have the peel replaced, the whole thing plunged back into a paper bag and driven backwards to the supermarket from where it's untucked to Costa Rica and hung on the tree which resorbs it as it goes from green to whatever they are before then. Meanwhile, presidents and kings are unwaging wars and back away from their jobs, which fall into the laps of those who are ready to retire. Judges, this is the longest time you're going to have to deliberate and to get those 10s figured out, how to put 10 up on the screen for me to see. Somebody just demonstrating it, but that's not a call for that. Let's be fair here and not hurt the feelings of your sacrificial poet. On the count of 3, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Let me see him. I got a 0.1 as expected. Yeah, we got 2 slow pokes in the back of the room trying to come up with a 1.9. I got a 9.1. That's pretty good. A 0.1. I don't know. I'm afraid we got a perfect 10. I don't know whether it's a 10. But I did a good job, I know, but you got to show me more than 0.1. You're breaking my heart. Yeah. Okay, well, we have a 30, and thank you very much. Please welcome to the stage, it's Dahi!
I wanted to thank everyone, my mom, my dad, and no, that's different. If you hadn't heard before, there was a rather courageous struggle between the folks in Montpelier and and surrounding areas, neighborly folks, against the United States Postal Service. It started about 9 months ago, and we think it's been resolved.
Hello. So sorry. Keep talking. You're way taller than you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I thought in honor of that struggle in which it looks like victory occurred on the behalf of all the folks that stood together, that I would put 3 postal stomps, all sort of interwoven. And the first one is the rumor. Mr. DeJoyce was a mean old man. Everybody knowed. He took away our post office, which got us all PO'd. So as a consequence, one of the things that you can write, if you try to write a poem, especially for some mean old man, might be a villain Nell. And the L stands for Lewis. It goes something like this. The title is, Mr. DeJoyce, where are you? No one sends me letters anymore. Even the postmaster ignores me. Perhaps I'm barking up the wrong door. What's the purpose of writing for? Most notes are sent by computer. I'm forlorn. No one sends me letters anymore. I miss my old post office and what it stood for. It got sent down river God knows where. Perhaps I'm barking up the wrong door.
I've written to the post office master
to implore him to rebuild the post office or restore it.
No one sends me letters anymore. While you may think me a complete bore,
I'll still stand on public floor.
But perhaps I'm barking up the wrong door. So, dear post office master, General Louis DeJoy, my e-complaint has boomeranged,
aborted.
No one sends me letters anymore. Perhaps I'm barking up the wrong door.
So, as a consequence, it didn't seem like single action really was getting very far, and sending emails that boomeranged and false calls and all that. It led to the notion that perhaps certain people, who was it? Was it Johanna Nichols and Ben Doyle, and they got different people like
some senators, perhaps.
I can't remember the guy's name. Peter and Becca, and they all showed up and they said, maybe if we have a post office protest at the old site, maybe, just maybe, we might make a difference. Now, we're going to do something unusual. We're going to ask you to sing along to a song, and I know you know most of the refrain, but it goes something like, bring back my P.O. to me, bring it back. Bring back my P.O. to me, bring back, oh
back my P.O. to me.
My P.O. washed down the Winooski, down to Lake Champlain and the sea.
I asked Mr. DeJoy to return it, and yet he's to respond back to me.
He is.
Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me.
3 generations have carried the way faithfully.
But I need to go to my post office to send gifts and meet friends for coffee.
Oh,
Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me.
One more time.
Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my P.O. to me.
Thank you, thank you.
The judges are furiously tabulating their scores. They're getting pretty good at it. This is their second time around. Don't show them until I ask for them. You're going to influence the other judges that way. By the way, audience, I forgot to mention that you're the most important component of this event because your job is to influence the judges. And when they announce a score that you don't like, I want to know what you're going to say. 1, 2, 3. And of course, if you really, really approve of something, even if it's somebody's performance, what are you going to do? So now let's see how you're influencing these judges this time around. On the count of 3, judges. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. I want to see them. Oh, I got a 0.8. Oh, maybe trainable, maybe not. We got a 0.8 so far. We're going to look for that in a moment. I got a 4.9. I've got an 8 point. You need to use decimal points. You just have to. I got an 8. Hold them up. Don't be shy. I got a 4.9. I got an 8. I need a decimal point. An 8.0, I guess. Another 8.0, an 8.1, and a 7.1, a 24.1 for David. Oh, heavens. What has happened to my marker? Oh, no. It was...
Over here. It's stolen. Behind you. It's behind you.
behind me. I'll talk to you later, David. A 24.1. I want to hear it for D. Avery.
Got the right one? I have a poem. It's been a long day and a beautiful evening. I could be home on my hill, quite content. but I've ventured into the city for this Capital Poem City event. Of all the events and activities, this slam is surely the best. And so a nod, yes, let's pause to applaud our grand slam master, Geof. And Montpelier, a great little city. When I visit, I always give thanks for the stars up above, and for poetical love, and for the river when it remains in its banks. For in July it was the river, not poets, that rose and took to the streets. But now it is April, and I am so grateful. Poem City is strong on its feet. Yep, a phoenix rises from ashes. Vermonters pull themselves up from the mud. Hot damn how this state got slammed, but was again not beaten by flood. You might have thought of old Noah. Some recalled long-suffering Job. Hell showed his high water, but we Vermonters, oh, the strength and resilience we showed. The flood of 27, thank goodness, still the worst we've ever seen. Stripes were earned and lessons learned from 2011's tropical storm Irene. In winter storms raging in springtime, daylight blotted out by the moon, April so cruel, more than one day for fools, but Poem City always ends all too soon. But now most roads are patched back together. We've put down our shovels, taken up quills. Tonight, no disaster. Now windows are plastered with poems. Poem City's great mission fulfilled. So now I shall exit this stage, head back home on roads washboarded and gritty, and perhaps I should have stayed in the woods, but I was drawn by the bright lights of Poem City. Our brave little state brimming with poets. Bravo to all brave enough to be heard. Artists so valiant, a deluge of talent. Bravo to all who celebrate the spoken word.
On the count of three, judges, don't forget your decimal point. I'll start with 1, 2, 3. Let me see them. I've got, a 6.5 from the Mimi, a 7.5, an 8.1, an 8.8, and a 9.5. A 24.4 for D. And I just have to say there's something compelling about the rhyme disaster and plastered. I just love it. Thank you so much for that. I didn't want to influence the judges, so I waited until after they scored. So don't get uptight. Put your hands together for Jennifer.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
So I don't have a poem. I'll be singing a song, but I did write the lyrics to the song, and some of the words rhyme, so I'm hoping that counts. So this is a special version of Moonlight in Vermont, which I wrote for my fellow Vermonters, so I hope you'll enjoy it. Pennies in a stream, falling leaves of a sycamore, moonlight in Vermont. Who needs well-paved roads? Overrated. Listen, I've only gotten one flat tire from the, 300 potholes I've driven through since last summer. I call that a win. Road signs are clearly optional. I did have to replace the flat tire, not ideal. And funny story, even though I only needed one tire, I ended up having to buy 4. Perfect. That's what happens living in Vermont. Outdoor dining is not just for summer. We don't care if it's 40 degrees. Can't feel your feet, and it's hard to eat when you're shivering so bad from the cold. Who needs department stores, Whole Foods, or the Apple Store? I mean, if you really had to have something from the Apple Store, you could just go to the one in Manchester, right? It's not that bad. What is it down and back, like half a day? Living in Vermont. Shopping local is the best, but are they open? Your best guess. Hi, what are your hours this week, please? Monday afternoon, Wednesday morning. Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. How about next week then? Just Tuesday. Okay, thank you. Living in Vermont. May we please get more notice before some events? I feel that I'm speaking for all. Hey, did you see that event they just posted on Front Porch Forum? Looks amazing. You want to go? When is it? In an hour. Living in Vermont. No need to bother with Amazon Prime. You think it's 2 days, it's 2 weeks. That's assuming you actually get your package, which, depending on where you live, as we recently heard, you may not get it. That's not a given. Especially if it happens to be that your town doesn't actually have a post office. Who doesn't love driving 8 miles to buy a stamp? Am I right? The struggle is real. Pennies in a stream, falling leaves of a maple tree. Living in Vermont, that's why I love living in Vermont.
Pennies in a stream, falling leaves of sycamore, moonlighting Vermont. It's a haiku. Hey, if you can't say it in 17 syllables, go write a novel. On a count of 3, judges are 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Want to see them? Yeah. Ooh. Oh. I got an 8.0 from a new meanie. I got an 8.5, another 8.5, a 9.7, and a 9.9. Jennifer moves into the lead with a 26.7. Pound your paws for Dia!
It's on. Oh, okay, now it's on. Perfect. Should I stand? Yeah. Okay. This is Callum, and that's Emmett over there. And we are going to be singing a song that Emmett wrote. I think it's pretty great. We're just trying to figure out the mic situation. How should we do this? Wait, there's another one. Yeah. Teamwork.
Probably the bass needs it more than the guitar. Probably not.
Can we play some places?
Yes.
Technical difficulties.
We're slow.
No, go over there.
No.
That's Emmett for you.
Playing musical chairs for you tonight.
All right, yeah, so this song is called Miss Me Like the Lilies, in parentheses.
I don't have to be too loud. It's okay.
Miss me like the lilies. Oh, miss me like the lilies. Lord, in the wind. Miss me like the mountain. Miss me like the mountains, lying down by the sun. Miss me like tomorrow. Oh, miss me like tomorrow. It's misty in the morning. It's misty in the morning. Birds are singing at the door. It comes without warning. Time passes without warning. It's north evermore. So miss me like tomorrow. So miss me like tomorrow. Don't wake me when you're leaving. Don't wake me when you're leaving. Leave a note by the door. It says, miss me like the lilies. Says miss me like the lilies.
Judges, I'm going to try this in Spanish. when I'm done, I'll say dígame, which means show me, but not until then, please, okay? We're keeping an eye on you especially. Little problems over there. And I'm not talking to you, Kim, I'm talking to the dude behind you. I've got to look up his name now, Mark. Yeah. He gives me a hard time. Watch this on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Dígame. He did it right. Give it up for Mark. But he's still a meanie. He comes up with an 8.7. I got an 8.9. I got a 9.9. I got another 9.9. 27. Carry the 2. A 28.7. Wait no longer! It's Rick!
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. This is a disgruntled employee poem. The musician's assistant is having difficulty. It's called Glissando Hoodle. Glissando is a descent or an ascent in music, and hoodling is actually pigeon keeping. I don't know if that's an old Yiddish word. My dad in Brooklyn in the 20s was a pigeon hoodler, and he talked about everybody hoodling. Really, they were farming in Brooklyn, basically. They were raising food. Glissando Hoodle. She wanted the magician's dove, a quiet coo up her sleeve. Instead, it was always the wriggling rabbit, its unwanted pearls of turd, always stuck with his cheap tricks, a quarter behind the ear, a knot of multicolored scarves, tacky abracadabras. Not the smooth wings unfolding, white flash and flutter from behind her back and under her elbow, released. The silk gloves of a dove's flight across the spotlight into the crowd's darkness, leaving her here, illuminated, picking the wrong card or pricked by the guy throwing knives. She's done talking her way out of the black velvet blindfold, the latched box, the saw, the disappearing shots of scotch after the animal acts are regathered into the top hat, the cards recounted and the fools fully fooled. Tonight, when the final lights go down, she'll palm a pearl-buttoned glove, a mahogany wand, his one dove, and like the evening silk scarf up her own sleeve, vanish.
On a count of 3, judges, I'll do it in English. 1, 2, 3, show me! I got a 8.5. I got a 8.8. Another 8.8. A 9.1 and a 9.8. 9.8. Eight, 16, 17, 1, 8, 9, 8, 70, 26.7 for Rick.
Publishing it.
Give it up for Susie!
Darling. Right. Okay, this is a piece that I wrote recently in response to the sort of superhero fascination in this culture. And it's been going on for a long time. Too long, as far as I'm concerned. And then this sort of like self-heal, self-help, new age, let's all heal ourselves. So I was kind of wondering what is a characteristic that you wouldn't necessarily expect for superheroes. So this is actually longer than 5 minutes, so I'm going to be cutting it in half, and if I come up again, you can hear the rest of it. Empath man, the patron saint of inclusion and self-sacrifice. Waking up of a morning, empath man doesn't naturally reach for his superhero costume. At first, his thoughts are about the feelings of others. Would they feel undervalued, he asks himself, as he aligns his superhuman awareness to the plight of others next to this bright, if warmly earth-toned, leggings made from organic buttermilk, flaxseed, biodynamically grown corn. Would people shy away from me? This thought made him hesitate. His natural inclination to care and consider the feelings of others outstrips any personal need for self-aggrandizement. He knows that his superhuman levels of self-sacrifice, compassion, and limitless ability to attune to the emotions of others, as well as his highly sensitive Geiger counter to the problems of the world, can intimidate people. He is empath man, and he is not invested in overshadowing the achievements of others. Again, he wanted, do I need to wear a uniform to highlight my natural inclination to give a hug? Empath man was divided, and as the day unraveled like a discarded soiled roll of toilet paper, empath man faced the day with an open heart and a handful of crystals. He braced himself for the inevitable slew of hideous diseases, miscarriages of justice, and the new charge for carrier bags in supermarkets. Empath man was ready and primed for another day of wokeness. Walking the streets, empath man waves to passers-by. He carries the shopping bags of the elderly, helps children cross the road, redirects the traffic from a duck and her ducklings nestled in a drain, holds the hands of a dumped lover, and as they cry into their coffee cup, there is no injury too big or too small. No internal or externally expressed crisis that can waver empath man's focus to be there, through the worst of it, all the way to the very end. Empath man's mission is to assist, help, make people from whatever background, creed, colour, race, gender identity, wealth class, or ginger hair feel less alone. He is here to help. Empath man is the man for the caring job at hand. And as the evening came to a close and all the various random acts of kindness felt complete, he sensed it was time to walk home with his neighbour's baby strapped to his chest. Empath man walked with an inner glow of satisfaction and quiet applause, knowing he had done his best. However, there was a flickering of a light in the windows of a bank. Empath man felt the urge to look inside. Someone might be mortally offended, mortally wounded, and with only one arm left, was trying to communicate with Morse code with the only available implement, a flashlight. He ventured in through the broken window. Strange, do they not have a front door key? Empath man made a mental note to offer his top tip on good housekeeping when it comes to spare key emergencies. But to his surprise, empath man found two bank robbers trying to open the safe. Holy moly, these miscreants, thought empath man, were about to rob the bank, the town, the system of its hard-earned cash and trust funds. Instantly, he superhumanly quelled the rising judgment, took a step back, realigned his empathic radar and gave and a wave of compassion flooded his veins. He recognized that these men were in need of resources. They were under-resourced, and it's only an expression of disempowerment and a sense of failure, along with a lack of career development, that has led them down this onerous path of thievery and delinquency, sidling up towards the first robber who was extracting another tool from his box. Empath man lent a listening ear and offered to hold the pliers.
Admire these judges. They've picked it up really quickly. So I'm going to throw a little challenge at them. I'll go backwards this time and in Spanish. And once again, wait for dígame. Don't show me anything earlier. Let's see, what's Spanish for three? Tres, dos, uno. Dígame. Well, okay, a little slow, but not bad. I got a 8.1 from the meanie. I got 8.9, a 9.2, a 9.7, and a 9.9. 27.8 for Susie. Put your hands together for Miriam.
I wrote this poem when I was 11 years old, and it's from the perspective of a wolf. Freedom. Freedom that is the wind, the grass under paws as I run down the hill. Freedom that is a howl into the night, a sniff at the dirt where someone has been. Freedom that is the rabbit leaping in the wind, the rabbit always wanting and getting, then giving. Freedom is the core of my life. Freedom is something that I am, something that the trees, the grass, the rabbit, the dirt, the world is. Freedom that is everything. And this is the next one. Let's see. To care for a body. This is how I would care for a body. Leap and dash in the sunlight. Feel the beating heart of the earth below your paws. Feel the freedom all around you in the sky, then howl. Then go to sleep. Feel the bodies of the others, your pack, your safe and warm home. Then feel your own sovereignty. Later, hunt. Hunting, it is the oneness, the way you work with the pack. It is the way you make the way for the ones around you. And you can connect, the way you resonate with the one who's your equal, the one who you are killing. It is not wrong to find how to fight, how to stab and make blood, how to kill and not harm. It is love. Eat now, snarl and snap and eat deep meat. It is the way to replenish the soul. The body needs deep meat. It needs it to run, to play, to hunt again, over and over, each time coming closer and closer to the soul.
All right. Judges on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Show me. Oh, some of them were already up before I returned my attention to their scorecards. Not good. 8.0 from a new meaning. An 8.9, a 9.0, a 9.5, and a 9.8. A 27.4 for Miriam. 27.4, we've actually verified it. You know, people are always saying to me, Geof, you're such a good-looking guy. And I've heard you say your poems, it's like Shakespeare come back to life. Your body, it's a Greek god's body. How can it be, with all of those things going for you, that you can calculate numbers with decimal points so quickly? How do you do it? I make them up. I want to hear it, please, for... Okay, for Tamsin!
Hi, thank you. That's just going to be down there. This is my pseudo-analog setup here. Yeah. There it is. My mom said she regretted showing us Monty Python and the Holy Grail when we were still little kids. I agreed. I said the knight getting all of his limbs chopped off with blood spurting out is still too much for me to watch. And the old man who's not dead yet being thrown on the cart, pretty grim. No, she said, I didn't think about those scenes. It was the rabbit. The fuzzy white rabbit that jumped 4 times its height and murdered humans with its cold-blooded rabbit fangs. She said, I felt so bad making you kids watch that scene. Meanwhile, at my dad's house, a skull rested on a tiny, soft blanket that at second glance was a rabbit skin, pure white, fur fraying at the sides, smooth skin on the underside, still in the shape of an animal without limbs. The skull on top had long, narrow eye holes, and the worst and most wonderful interactive part was the teeth, yellow-brown and curved, gently arcing into the skull's pointy face part. I would pull the broken one out and push it back in, marveling how it fits in their jagged, uneven tips, run my small fingers in the eye sockets and the nasal pockets, and trace the strange zigzag crack on the top. I asked for and was given my own rabbit fur to keep things on, placed on my bureau. My mood rings, the gem holographic star earrings, the best bottle caps from my collection. Sometimes I would put all those things to the side and just feel the different sides of the skin, the fur on my fingers, roll it up and unroll it across my face. Dad also had an ermine fur from a rare wintertime weasel. I wasn't allowed to play with it. To this day, his keychain is a fox's entire tail taken from roadkill, sticking out the back pocket of his sagging lees, held up by suspenders like some kind of Davy Crockett. When he left my stepmom, he moved in with a woman half his age who told me a story about their neighbor stealing a squirrel carcass. We buried it, you know, for the skull. And I nodded, I did know. You find a dead creature and bury it, allow the decomposers to eat it, clean the bones, keep them whole. The worms carefully scooch into the holes you could only dream of cleaning out with a dentist's pick, leaving some dirt and nothing else. You leave the skeleton as an offering, calcium a gift to the soil, marrow for the tiniest earth dwellers. The skull gets brushed with an old toothbrush, left in a sunny place in the garage, allowed to bleach and line it up with the others, pride in the newest unbroken specimen. And my mom thought the Holy Grail bunny was scary to me. She didn't know the sliding teeth and debodied skin of a real long-dead rabbit had already metastasized from nightmare to curiosity to comfort.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Ooh,
They're getting
I got an 8.9, another 8.9, a 9.1, a 9.7 from the former Mimi, and a 9.9, 8, 9 is 17, a 27.7 for Kathleen. Give it up for Christopher!
Today, it is Big Girl and Little Bean and Daddy. It is sun and sweat and street fair. It's a $5 all-day wristband for the bouncy house, and it is bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. And Daddy, we're thirsty, so it's lemonade and kettle corn and bounce and bounce. And it's sand art, and it's tie-dye and bounce and bounce. And it's a terrible children's musician and bounce and bounce and bounce. And it's Daddy, we are too hot in the bouncy house now, and that's okay with me, because it's street fair. And it's walk, and it's raffles, and free candy for the kids, and free koozies, and free stress balls, and walk, and hold my hand, and walk, and stay with Daddy, and walk, and don't hide in the clothes racks, and walk, and I want a yellow balloon, and it's walk, and it's hot, and it's free samples of Dunkin' Donuts culotta, and it's yes, and it's thank you, and it's one more kids, and it's, okay, really, last one, but get one more for Daddy, and it's we want to go back to the bouncy house now. It's 4 blocks away, so it's walk, and it's raffles and candy, and it's walk, and it's a free issue with a local paper, and it's Daddy, and it's yes, Big Girl, and it's half price, it's Sundays only, it's not, I live on the other side of the state, and where do you live? Great local paper they have there. It is not a great local paper, and let me tell you why. And Big Girl is tugging at my arm, and Little Bean is, where's the baby? Bean was just here. Little Bean, purple shirt, the yellow balloon, check the clothes racks. Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, and there's 2 blocks of street fair each way, and there is no yellow balloon. And it's which way? And it's pick one, and walk, Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, have you seen them? Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, and it's walk, and it's the bouncy house. Bean's not there, and it's wrong way, and it's back, and walk, Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, Little Bean, and it's been 10 minutes, it's been 15, and it's walk, and it's the other end, and Bean's not there, and it's dead cell phone, and it's no cops here, and it's back, and walk, and check the side streets, and walk, and don't think that, and walk, and don't cry, Big Girl, it's not your fault, and walk, Little Bean, purple shirt, yellow balloon, and it's the bouncy house again. And it's empty. And it's what do I do? And it's just past there, it's a gazebo, and a yellow balloon, and a Little Bean, in a purple shirt, stained with 3 flavors of Dunkin' Donuts culotta, and a nice lady who will not let her on the bouncy house without their grown-ups. And she has called the police. And it's the first time all day Little Bean runs to my arms when I call them.
On the count of 3, judges. 1, 2, 2.5. It's getting wise to me, I can tell you. 3, I want to see him. I got a 9.5, a 9.7, a 9.7, wait a minute, a 9.5, a 9.7, another 9.5, yes, a 9.9, and a perfect 10. A 29.1. There's a valued tradition in slam that the first perfect 10 of the evening, barring what the sacrificial poet gets, but the first true 10 of the evening, awarded by a judge, requires the slam master to perform a musical piece in honor of Christopher in this case. I've done this for many others. Christopher's not the only one. There are 10s in the world, and Christopher happens to have one of them, the first legitimate 10 tonight. And Christopher, this song is for you.
Ain't nobody got it better than me. If the sun is too high, you find me in the shade of a tree. And no work, no job, no boss waiting on me. But the girl that I love, and the good Lord take right care of me. Now, you could take everything that I got and throw it out in a great big pile. I wouldn't bust my butt just to get more stuff. I could beat that by a country mile. Because I got time. Enough and to spare. I don't want to sit in no office when I could be breathing fresh air. My bills keep me easy to pay. I don't spend in a week any more than I can earn in a day. Now, if I worked real hard and I saved my dough, I could buy a big house and a car. I get an SUV, an HD TV, but this is better by far because I got time to lie in the sun. Nothing better to do than just lay around warming my buns. I might drive in a beat-up old car. If I want to have fun, I can just pick up some old guitar. Now you can take everything that I got, and you can put it in a great big pile and send it up in smoke. It would be a joke. I watch it burning with a great big smile. Da-da-dee-da-dum, bye-bye stuff. Adios, watch it burn. Yeah. I got time. I need time for yoga and stuff. I like to still take off my clothes and just lie on the beach in the buff. I need time, not a Mercedes Benz. Give me nieces and nephews and time to make music with friends. I could take everything that I got and I could put it in a great big pile and haul it to the dump. And you might call me a chump, but I'm a chump that's going out in style. Because I got time.
On the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say them. Oh, I got a 8.4. I got a 9.0. I got a 9.7, a 9.8, and a 9.9. A 28.5 for Jim. Please, a round of applause for JD.
The former hunter. When I was a young boy, I used to go hunting with my father and my older brother. My dad, he had his own gun, and me and my brother, we shared one. And we'd go out in the woods, and I'd take the gun and I would aim, but I would sort of tremble, kind of shake when I shot. And I would miss the deer, miss the rabbit, miss the squirrel. And my brother, he'd laugh at me, he'd grab the gun, and he'd aim, and he held the gun steady. He neither trembled nor shook when he took his shot, and he got the deer, got the rabbit, got the squirrel, and there'd be no more deer, no more rabbit, no more squirrel. And afterwards, his carcasses filled, dressed, and gathered in a triumphant pile. He'd make fun of me, call me names, called me scaredy cat, called me weak, and called me many other things, most of them too mean and malicious to repeat. And my dad would join in. He'd laugh, and he'd say how I needed to grow a pair and not be so scared of the gun. But I weren't scared of no gun. I was afraid of something else. But one day, I got sick and tired of being made fun of, and sick and tired of being afraid. And on that day, just a few days shy of my 10th birthday, our dad was back at camp taking a nap, which looked an awful lot like being passed out. And me and my brother, we's walking all by ourselves out deep in the woods. And my brother, he had the gun slung down to one side, and he was carrying a can of RC Cola in the other. And he was yammering on and on about all the usual stuff pubescent boys all full of themselves yammer on about. When I stopped him, I said, "Hey, take that can of soda and hurl it as hard and as high as you can up in the air." "What for?" he said. "Just do it." And so he hauled back his going places arm and hauled with all his might, and he threw it up in the air. And it went upwards, it went hard, it went high. It went up, 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 high, high, high. It went so high, it broke through the sky and landed in heaven. But Mr. God up there in heaven didn't care much for no can of soda littering his place, so he gave it a mighty whack and sent it on a path back to us, traveling to us at a devilish pace. It picked up speed as it went, and we watched its descent with a kind of divine awe. And then, quick as sin, I grabbed that gun from him. I aimed it at his chest. I pressed that loaded gun against my brother's heart. I took a couple steps forward. He took a couple steps back and did a little dance. I think he might have wet his pants. I held the gun steady. I neither trembled nor shook as I looked into my brother's eye. Bang, I said, my voice as soft as a hard promise. Then I ushered that gun upwards towards God and fired. I nailed that can of soda between the R and the C, and it fell down to the ground like a dying deer, a dying rabbit, a dying squirrel. It dropped down to the ground and lay there dead between him and me. I gently laid that still smoking gun at my brother's feet, the blood in my veins simmering in an icy cold heat. I didn't say a word, and he didn't say a word, and if word got back around to my dad, I never heard it. But that was the last time I ever went hunting with my father, brother, or anyone else.
On the count of three, judges. 1, 2, 3. I want to see them. Ooh. Ooh, I've got a slow poke. Oh, the slowest poke and the meanest of the meanies. An 8.2 from Larry. An 8.5 from Deborah. A 9.1 from Mark. A 9.7 and another 9.73. A 27.3. Our last slammer of the evening, barring a tie. Please welcome to the stage, it's Emmett.
You already saw me, but it's the Bible said music doesn't count. Or share this. This place is stuffed full of words. Stuffed like beef fat filling the aortal cavity. 100 ways to move the mouth and only a single stupid idea. America, haven, heaven, cow wrangler, murderer, world stealer, job market, pavement maker, change, them, us, unnatural. But how wrong? How the ground has never failed to be turned inside out, no matter the plow or the paintbrush. Or the power lines reaching from here to Cincinnati, or the fire raging with ever proof it happened, or the forests of Maine standing like platoons of soldiers to the firing line, or the drifting continent, or the damned weather. How it fails to ever be captured by a landscape painting or panoramic photograph, the only constant is change. We know that. So too do the mountains of the Rockies shrinking by the second. So too does the Massachusetts tide never ending in the same place and never smelling quite the same. So too does Los Angeles seeking the promises of San Francisco at 40 millimeters per year. So too does the last American parrot lying to rest in Raleigh City before James Brown takes the stage. So too does the homeless man on Hollywood Boulevard, palace of great kings. One thing has never made way for another. There is no paradise to remake. It was burned with the sheep farmers and the steel mills. It was trodden by Europe, and before that, children of sunken land bridges, and before that, the introduction of the bison, and before that, another ice age. I see no men, only animals, only abundance creating abundance, only natural taken to its most marketable ends. The human brain proving itself magnum opus, the most natural thing this planet has ever conceived. I see no paradise. Paradise, I see bloated children. I see hurricane beating the eastern seaboard. I see New York, super concrete hive colony. I see coal-addicted Ohio. I see the marble steps of Washington, D.C. I see the liquor stores and uranium dumps and property boundaries and wastewater systems and hydro dams and firing ranges and slaughterhouses and preschools. I see roads and highways and interstates and freeways and overpasses and on-ramps and intersections and roundabouts and parking lots and waste stations and class 4 and logging potential. Paradise. I see paradise. We have made it. We have succeeded. We have won. We have won in the Michigan limestone, now formed into the beautiful concrete of Texas Walmarts. We have won in the wisdom of Redwood, now prison suburbs of Arkansas. We have won in the plains with the might of 100 million cornfield bombs. In Yellowstone and Yosemite, where the birds sing the battle hymn of the Republic. In the fleet of cruise ships making mountains of anchorage. In the parking lot filled with the glory of asphalt and cigarette ash. In the untamable sky crisscrossed by F-35 jet bombers. In the most abusive seas pumped full of motor oil sedatives. In the backwoods of New England, where every mushroom and maple leaf has an owner. In the box stores standing mighty like apocalypse. In the endless trailer park looming over the corpse of mangrove forest. In the megacities of cows who've never had a chance to know what standing feels like. In more dog parks than old growth forests, in gerrymandered ecosystem plots in the borders and boundaries and trespassing and barbed wire and timber framing and posted and land use and real estate market, in the ghettos and 8-lane highways and diners smelling of cat piss, in McDonald's, in Wasteland, in Do Not Enter, in AR-15, in Sidewalk, in Metropolitan, in the zoo, in the spectacle, in the cheap, in the 2-liter, in men with guns on every block, in the semi-truck, in the apartment, in plastic scraps, in the garbage dump. America, I see you, America. We have won, America. We have won, America.
All right, judges, this is your last chance. 1, 2, 3. I want to see him. Slowpoke. 9.2. An 8.3. A 9. Yeah, woke the audience up with that 8.3, Larry. I know where you live. I got a 9.2. I got the 8.3. I got a 9.8. I got a 9.9 and a perfect 10. A 28.9 for Emmett. Now, before we get to the prize ceremony, I just want to say Lost Nation Theater is the best. Thank you, Andrew, for the sound. Thank you, Kim, for the judging. Thank you, Brandy, wherever you are, for front of the house work. Thank you, sir, for what you were doing, keeping everybody moving as they came in. This is an amazing theater. We're so lucky to have it. Support it in every way you can. And now, to the prizes. Kathleen, do you have any tickets?
I always have tickets.
May we have them, please?
Oh, Brandy!
This is the kind of service I get here. Now you know why I love Lost Nation Theater. Well, I want to say that Emmett did an amazing job in sneaking into second place. Emmett is the runner-up. You gotta come forward. The arrival of the Champions Award. Thank you very much. Thank you. For Emmett, however, as a runner-up, well, you've already heard music, but imagine having one of your own. I'll give you one in a carrying case. Yeah, get off the stage. While I'm over here, though, let me introduce you to this man. Chris, where are you from?
Sorry.
I hope you find a way to come back to Montpelier.
I will.
You will.
This is like the second time I've been here in a couple weeks. Like, I was here for the eclipse, and I'm back here again. I'm here.
You're ours. Congratulations. And special acknowledgement to the trio with the music. I thought that was extraordinary. And I think the judges deserve a little bit of recognition. And finally, for all the slammers who made it possible.